Hey everybody, my name is Phoebe and I work on the community team at Elastic, and I'm here with some of my awesome colleagues from Elastic. I have John Knopfel, is that how we pronounce it?
Netflix.
Okay, great. And John Bickford and Jay Miller. Jay is a colleague of mine on the Elastic community team. He's one of our developer advocates. And John's going to be presenting to us today about enterprise search. So before we get started, I just wanted to mention to everybody that you can find the latest events that are happening for Elastic on our website at community.elastic.co. And the AMAIR virtual user group is the one for our region, and you'll see all the latest events. We'd love for you to join us. And without further ado, I'll hand it over to John to present.
Thanks, Phoebe. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so 3+1. What I'm going to talk to you about today is the art of the possible, and why that simple equation adds up to a bit more than what you might expect. So at Elastic, we're, as you probably know, we're a search engine company. We believe that everyone is searching for something. We're searching for insights, knowledge, information. And, we've got plenty of customers using us for all these types of searches, right? Looking for restaurants, groceries, files, emails, tickets, you name it, everything you see scrolling by here. And what we search for is consistent, or why we search is consistent, but what we search for changes all the time. And that can be changes in, adding new types of data like geospatial data, which we also do. Maybe it's adding metrics to log information. You name it, there's a continuously evolving set of data that we're interested in searching for. In fact, we believe the more you search, the more you expect to be able to search across other types of data. That's what we're all about. The other thing that changes continuously is just the sheer volume of data that we're looking at, whether it's looking for things inside the company you happen to work for, information to get your job done, or searching for products. It's rolling around the holidays, searching for gifts for your family and loved ones. So there's just continuously more to search. Elastic has built probably the best platform on the planet for building search-based applications, and that's what we call the Elastic Stack. Some of you may know us as the Elk Stack. Originally, we had three products: Elasticsearch, the core search engine; Logstash, which is what we use to ingest data into the search engine; and Kibana, which is a visualization tool to let you ask questions of the data once it's in Elasticsearch. We continuously evolve this platform, and we've added other ways to ingest data, such as beats, and I'm not going to go into much detail on those today, but the bottom line is, as we've added more products and more solutions to this core stack, we've gotten away from that simple abbreviation of ELK, and we use the term the Elastic Stack. So the Elastic Stack is the +1 in that equation that I referred to on my first slide. And it's the thing that we build all of our solutions on. Today, I'm going to focus on one of those solutions, which I'll get to in just a minute, but we've built 3 vertical solutions on top of this core stack. So the 3 represents the different solution areas. The +1 is the stack, and even the idea of just building completely unique solutions, maybe that are outside the bounds of those 3 solution areas. Now, I mentioned that we continuously evolve the amount of data that we're searching across, the types of data that we're searching across. And no matter how good of an application you build, and we'll look at what some of those applications look like today, sometimes you need help. The more data there is, the more help you need sifting through it and understanding what's going on. So the beauty of what we're trying to do here is, by building on this core stack, on the Elastic Stack, we incorporate things like machine learning right into the stack, so that as you ingest more and more data here, we allow you to leverage our machine learning engine to look at that data, understand what's in that data, look for patterns, and then let you know when there's something of interest that you should pay attention to. So we try and notice it for you and bring your attention to it, so that you don't spend your whole life just staring at screens or dashboards. So I touched a little bit on these three solutions. So these are the vertical areas that I mentioned. I'll work from the right to the left because we're focused on the solution on the left today. But we've got one solution area which is totally focused on what we call elastic security. So that's a solution built for security practitioners, InfoSec teams, security analysts that are busy probably at your own company protecting your enterprise and your assets. So we've got a whole solution set built just for those types of Elasticsearch users. Elastic Observability is for those of you in the audience that are SREs or operations people. So we allow you to bring in all the telemetry information, logging events, application performance monitoring information from your infrastructure, bring it into the Elastic Stack, and then present a set of tools and user interfaces to make sure your infrastructure is healthy, running the way it should, and again, draw your attention to problems, hopefully before your customers see it. So that's Elastic Observability. We're not going to touch on those today, but if there's interest in that, our community team is always looking for new topics, and feel free to reach out to folks like Phoebe and Jay, and we can line up another meetup on these other solution areas in the future. So today we're here to talk about Elastic Enterprise Search. And so I talk to customers a lot about these solution areas, and there's always a little bit of confusion about this one, ironically, because it is all about search. And as I mentioned, they're all built on the Elastic Stack, and at the core of everything we do for all these solutions is the Elasticsearch search engine. Now, what is enterprise search, and why is it a solution area unto itself? Well, the reason we've introduced that is, and some of you in the audience may be well aware of this, some newcomers may not. Having a great search engine doesn't necessarily turn into a fantastic search experience for your end users, either whether those are internal users in your business or your external customers that you rely on to make your revenue for your business. And I think we've all experienced cases where you find a website or something where there's a poor search experience. And because of things like Google today, and we're so accustomed to be able to quickly issue a quick text search and get relevant answers instantly, everyone has come to expect that type of behavior. And we have customers that build fantastic search experiences directly on the Elastic Stack with no help from us. They just use the core stack, and they've got experience and usually a fairly significant set of developers, and they can build a search experience. But not everyone can do that. And in today's world, you want to get these search experiences, these search apps out into the marketplace as soon as possible. So enterprise search is a collection of higher level tools built, again, on top of the Elastic Stack, just like our observability solution and our security solution. But they're all about building good search experiences in an easier way at a higher level, and without necessarily having all the low-level expertise that you need to make Elasticsearch sing and get it to do exactly what you want. So today, I'm going to dive into this solution. We're going to specifically look at, there's two kind of subcomponents in enterprise search. One of them is called App Search, and I'll show you what you can do with that, what it looks like, how you can build. I have an example of an e-commerce site that our fantastic demo team here at Elastic put together. And we'll take a look at what a user would experience building a search application with App Search. I'll also show you how you can use it to build something like a chatbot for a support team to offload some of the work for a support team. And then the other piece of enterprise search is something we call workplace search. So I think almost all of us, no matter what business you work in, and I've worked at a variety of IT companies, all of them, fairly high-tech companies, and yet it's always hard to find a PowerPoint presentation that you're looking for, or a PDF or a Word doc that you saw just a couple days ago, and then you can't find it when you need it. Workplace search is all about empowering all the users in your business to quickly find information. So that's what the topic of the meetup is today. We're going to do a deeper dive on enterprise search. Now, real quickly, everything I'm going to show, I'm going to paint a little picture of a fictional company and how they bring all these solutions to bear. And I already touched on some of these. We'll see how we're not going to go into it, but we'll see that the security team can use our security solution. A DevOps team can use things like both app search, workplace search, and observability once they've built an application to make sure it's healthy. And then we'll take a look at a variety of different knowledge workers in this fictional company and how they might use the tools in enterprise search. So we're all knowledge workers today, right? That I don't think any one of us would consider themselves not a knowledge worker, because as I mentioned, you're always looking for something to get your job done. In fact, McKinsey recently did a study, and they found that on average, almost everyone in business today, or whether it's, I shouldn't say in business, but anyone in their life spends at least 108 minutes a day searching, looking for information. And again, that includes things you're doing at work or things you're doing outside of work, like I mentioned earlier, searching for gifts for the holidays coming up. So all of us are knowledge workers in one way or another. I already touched on the observability team. If you're like most businesses, your infrastructure probably looks like something like this. A collection of new tools and legacy applications. Maybe you're running in a cloud or multiple clouds, and you've got some things running on premise. You're using tools like Ansible or Terraform to roll out new applications. Maybe you're going down the microservices path and you're using things like Kubernetes to orchestrate everything. The bottom line is our environments today are increasingly more complex. And then when your customer sees something like this, how do you troubleshoot that problem, right? As I mentioned earlier, if a customer doesn't have a good search experience, boom, they're going to just hop over to the next tab in their browser, which is probably your competitor, and they'll go search there. So you need to get to mean time to resolving that problem as quickly as possible. And that's what observability is all about. And then I already touched on our all important security, SecOps teams, keeping our business safe and secure, our information safe and secure. So this company, Gallivant, which is what we're going to be looking at in the demo in just a couple minutes, has chosen to go all in with Elastic. And so what they're doing is they're using workplace search for all their knowledge workers. And so the knowledge workers actually encompasses everyone on every one of these teams, whether it's somebody in the business analytics team, one of the C-level executive team, maybe it's, as I already mentioned, the DevOps team or security team. They maybe are using Elastic Observability and security for those specific functions, but almost certainly they're probably also using workplace search to find relevant information to get their job done. And we'll see what that looks like maybe as a developer searches workplace search looking for something relevant to that role versus somebody on the marketing team looking for something to get their job done. We're actually going to start by looking at what Gallivant has built for their customers. Gallivant is in the business of e-commerce, specifically a clothing site, and we've built that clothing site using App Search. So again, the idea is it's running on the Elastic stack, leveraging all the power that you get with Elasticsearch and Kibana, everything in that core stack, machine learning. But the development team at Gallivant was able to get their e-commerce site up and running much more quickly because, as I said, App Search up-levels that experience. It's a higher level set of APIs. You can almost think of it as like developing an application, at a low-level language, something like C or even assembly language, and then languages like Python and Ruby come along to make your developer life much easier. App Search is that same concept for building search-powered applications. So enough with the slides. Let's jump into the demo. By the way, if there are questions, feel free to post those in the chat or the Q&A section there. And Phoebe and Jay and John will help me keep an eye on that if you do have questions so they go through this. So as I said, now this is an application that we built at Elastic. The demo team that I work with, they're always helping us solution architects out by creating really compelling demos that we can show to the community. And so what they did was they built this Gallivant e-commerce site. So, anyone who has shopped on Amazon or anything, this should look pretty familiar. Now this particular page, obviously, I'm bringing this up because I do get this question from customers all the time. Do you get this site out of the box? No, this was built by using App Search to build this, in particular, this search experience here. The rest of what we see here, these images and stuff, this is just part of the demo to make it look like a realistic e-commerce site. So what do you get out of the box with App Search? So you get a great search experience. So if I start typing, let's say I'm looking for a sweatshirt. As soon as I start typing, you see the almost instantaneous suggestions that I get. And I've gotten a variety here just by typing the word sweat, right? Sweater, sweater blazer, sweatshirt, certainly what I was looking for. And then you even have flexibility as you do these suggestions. You can incorporate other information from the product catalog on the Gallivant site. So what they've done here, what the Gallivant app development team has done is they've got a description, for the product. They've got some pricing information, and they even have ratings that their customers have submitted on the site. And that's all shown right here in the suggestions. So I could click on any one of these to complete my search. I'm just gonna, since I started off to type in sweatshirt, I'll just go with that completion. Now, hopefully you noticed there, and admittedly, this isn't a huge product set. This isn't, this demo is not as big as Amazon.com, but again, I entered sweatshirt as a search, and one of the things Elastic is fantastic at is rapid responses to a query. And so you can see I immediately got a result set. The site looks pretty nice out of the box. In general, mostly what we're seeing here is sweatshirts. I can do things like sort by relevance. So I can change the order that these appear in. Maybe I want to see just, I want to look at things from the highest price to the lowest priced. There's things on here like shoes that maybe shouldn't be on a search for a sweatshirt. And we're going to see behind the scenes how a business user, maybe someone on the sales or marketing team, can actually tweak these results to do even a better job than, what's showing up for a customer already. In addition to changing the relevancy over here, I can sort by name, things like that. All things that we've come to expect from all the searching that we do in our day-to-day lives. I can come over here and we get a nice facet panel here on the left. And so I can do things, let's say if I was looking maybe for a gift for my wife, and I want to just narrow down just sweatshirts for women, I can do that. Maybe I've got a price range in mind. I'm going to splurge and only look for sweatshirts. Oh, I guess there weren't any in that price range, but you get the idea. I can do range queries, and all of this can be built directly on the Elasticsearch search engine directly. But with App Search, it's much easier to implement something like this. So that's one of the key thing that I wanted to show from what the end user sees. I'll actually show one last thing. So we built this search experience to search for clothing here on the Galavan site in that search box using app search, but we also used it to build another thing that we're very used to, a chatbot. And I'm going to come back to this chatbot in a bit. I just wanted to point out it's here. I'll jump back over to this and show you a little bit more detail after we look behind the scenes. So what I'm going to do now is take you behind the scenes of the app search user interface. So over here, actually, let me take a step out even a little bit further. So on the left panel here, you can kind of see what the administrator for this site sees. So the users that are running search for Galavant. So first of all, we have a concept of engines. And again, that refers to a search engine. And in this case, in the case of app search, you can build multiple different search engines for an application. So what I just showed you was actually two separate search engines. We have an e-commerce search engine, which is the product catalog where I was searching for the sweatshirt, and the help center search engine, which is that chatbot that I showed you. And I will get back to show you kind of what that looks like and how that is used. While we're up here, I'll also show this concept of meta engines. This allows you, if you've got a very diverse set of things you need to search. For example, I'm working with a customer right now that through acquisitions currently has, I think they have over 40 different websites that they through acquisitions. And a lot of their users search on all those different sites. And they're actually looking to Elastic to standardize all those searches because right now their search experience is radically different depending on which kind of subsection of the products that they have at their disposal. And so some of the search experience is great, some is not so great. And the customers realize, that they have a completely different experience depending on which subsection of product they're looking at. So they want to keep those properties separate, but they also want to be able to, at least internally, be able to search across everything. And so that's where this idea of a meta engine comes in. So I'll just call this meta engine the meetup engine. And all I need to do is just select the two that I have deployed here and create a meta engine. And so what that's done now is that's actually, and I'll show you in this entire demo, we've only got 1,488 documents ingested into Elasticsearch. Again, it's a pretty small demo, but this is a combination of the product catalog for the e-commerce site and then the knowledge base articles for the help center or for the chatbot. So, but that's all it took. Now at my disposal, I could create an application, an internal facing application using this meta engine to search across everything. It's a little bit far-fetched that you'd want to do a search looking both across products and knowledge-based documents, but I think you get the idea that you can combine search engines and have an overall meta search across everything in an application like this. So I'm going to go back out to the engine view and show you the type of analytics that you get out of the box with app search. And this, again, hopefully will illustrate why this higher level abstraction of app search is important. So first of all, I get an immediate overview of my e-commerce engine. You can see the total queries that have been done over the last 7 days for this environment, total number of operations. We monitor clicks. So, one of the things that's really important for an e-commerce site is if your customers are doing searches and they never click on anything, obviously that's an indicator that the search experience is less than desirable, because if you're returning results and they don't click on them, it means your relevancy is not very good and your customers are not willing to click on an item and follow through on it. So we capture metrics like clicks. We show you how many total queries have been issued for this e-commerce engine, and then recent API calls here. So we can actually drill into this. and take a closer look at the searches at the JSON level for what was searched. Now, there is actually live data being generated for this site, so I didn't issue this Versace search, but if we scroll down through these, eventually we'd find the sweatshirt search that I did somewhere in this one of these API calls. Now, what I want to drill into next, though, is the analytics. And this, again, to build a good search experience and have your users, enjoy the experience, obviously the result should be, more business, whether that's buying sweatshirts or shoes, or whether it's, some other service that your company happens to be offering. But it's never perfect. No matter how good of a job you do, it's never perfect. And the real way that great search sites come into existence is actually by looking at what customers are doing on that site, understanding the analytics that are coming from it, and then tweaking it. Now, again, in the past, if you're building something from scratch, you usually have a development team. You're probably, if they're doing a good job, they're collecting analytics like this that the sales and marketing team can look at to see, are people clicking on things, putting them in a shopping cart? Are they completing the order on the shopping cart? Are they abandoning the shopping cart? There's all those types of things to look at for a customer-facing site. And traditionally, if there was something like that, are you getting those types of analytics, and you see that maybe there are certain queries, pardon me, certain queries that are being issued, and they're either not generating any results. So it's, there's just it's a black hole. You've got customers searching for a specific product, and you have no results coming back. Or, as I mentioned, you get results and they don't click on them. You want to tune that. And in the past, typically what that meant was, now I have to go back to my app dev team, have them tune the relevance in the search engine, maybe write some new code, re-index frequently is something that you would have to do, and then go ahead and publish the code for the site again. And frequently that it wouldn't be unheard of that's a week, 2 weeks, till everything's tested, and now the sales team has been waiting for a couple of weeks to tune that. With App Search, we provide you these analytics out of the box, and we make it easy for the business users to actually tune that. And we're going to take a look at what that would look like. So again, a couple of things I'll point out here. We see that here are some of our top queries. So obviously a lot of people shopping for dresses and denim on the site. Those are our top queries. And it looks like we're doing a pretty good job, because in general, the results are being clicked on. So this indicates, things that are working well for the Gallivant e-commerce site. On the other hand, we see a number of things here, like Converse, yoga, camping gear, Hoka 11, things that are, there's queries being issued and there's absolutely no results. So we want to get an understanding, and maybe even if we don't have a specific product, maybe we want to at least tailor it so that if someone searches, for example, one of the things I'm going to show you is I'm in the market for some new running shoes, and so a couple of my teammates love Hoka 11, so I've been looking at those. The Gallivant site doesn't have any, so I did some searches before I did this meetup, and there were no results. I'll show you how I could at least tune that and show other shoes as an example. So maybe as a business, you don't have that brand, but lots of times you want to show something else that might be of interest to the user. So I'll show you how you can handle repairing that on this site. Now the next thing we'll look at is click-through analytics. So here again, I already touched on that. These are the top clicks. And then here's an example of Converse where a result came back and didn't get clicked at all. And then also just statistics on recent queries. So the bottom line here, the main message is that we give you with App Search, these analytics are collected by App Search for you, presented in this administrator UI, and then this can be shared with the business team to tailor, to take a look at this and tailor the results. So how would you go about doing that? So in Elastic, there's a variety of different things you can do with the Elasticsearch search engine if you know what you're doing to remedy situations where things aren't returning the results you want. So we're going to start over here with synonyms as one example. So I've got to hide my Zoom screen here. It's blocking my view. So I'm going to create a new synonym set, and I'll show you how easy that is to do. So I mentioned those shoes, Hoka 1-1. We're not returning any results. And just to keep it simple, I'm just going to say, make Hoka 1-1 a synonym with shoe. And I'm going to save that. And now, if I go back to Gallivant, all I've got to do here is just go back out and refresh the screen. And you had seen in the analytics that Hoka 1-1 didn't return any results. But now if I type Hoka 1-1, I should get shoes. And you can see, so what's important here is, imagine I'm on the sales team. I saw that people are searching my site. Again, I'm not carrying Hoka 1-1 shoes, but on the other hand, at least now I'm returning some shoes, so the user is not getting just a no results found message. So that was just a simple example, but the really important thing is that was simple enough for a business user to do, someone on the sales team, like I said, rather than having to open a ticket with the app dev team, having the app dev team create a synonym set, package that code, roll it out. I was able to do that, and it was immediately available on the e-commerce site as soon as the next user comes along and opens the site. So that was an example of a synonym set. I'm going to skip over curations just for a minute and show you other ways you can tune relevancy. So here, I'm going to go back to my initial search, which was for a sweatshirt for my wife. And here you see results coming back from the underlying, remember, this is all built on Elasticsearch, right? The core stack. So one of the key things with text-based search is we look at documents in the search engine and we issue a score to how relevant they are to the search. So in this case, I just issued a simple single word text search, sweatshirt, and you can see all the results that came back. If I actually do the same search, this will match the same set of things that we were displaying when I typed sweatshirt on the Gallivant site. Now, if I want to tune the relevancy here, let's say as an example, and by the way, here's basically the schema for our product catalog. If I want to come over here and say, I want to tune this so that so that the description field is a higher relevancy versus other fields in my schema, all I have to do, again, imagine a salesperson or a marketing person tweaking this. And what I want you to do is keep an eye on these relevancy scores here. So you can see in some places, well, I guess in the results we're seeing here, sweatshirt does show up in each description field, but you will see as I change the weighting of the description field, you'll notice that the relevancy scores for the results have changed dramatically. And that was probably because now these results were boosted over results that were kind of off screen here in my display that maybe didn't have sweatshirt in the name, but they did feature sweatshirt in the description. And the main thing is the relevancy score changed immediately as I did that. If I go ahead and save that now, same idea, that will actually change the order of the results, promoting results for anything in my catalog that has the term sweatshirt in the description field for in the document. So again, same idea. If all I do, go back here, go back out and refresh this. I don't know if we'll remember exactly the order of things we looked at earlier. But this took effect immediately, and I think it did change the order there. But you get the idea. Again, salesperson comes in, is able to change the relevancy tuning coming back. And what's important here is this relevancy is not tailored to a specific set of products. It's basically working across the query for all the documents in the search engine. And one last thing I'll show you is another way to boost things. So you'll notice that there's no option for tailoring anything for the rating, and that's because this is a numeric field. So things like changing, we don't weight based on numeric fields. Those are the weighting only comes from text fields in the catalog. But what I can do if I want to incorporate rating, let's say I want to add a boost for rating and elevate things that have 4 or 5 stars. Now I could certainly sort my entire product catalog like I showed you earlier, and just change the relevancy and just show me highest rated to lowest rated. That will research everything. But if I just want to boost items slightly that have a higher rating, I can do that by adding, and we don't have time today to go into all the details here of what a functional boost is, but what I can do here is, what this is going to do is, and you should see the scores change, this is now going to look at the rating for each product and add a multiplier or multiplication factor. And again, you can see the scores jumping dramatically because what's happening now is the rating is being multiplied on top of the scoring for the result that came back from a text search and changing the score for the document. So in this case, we can do things like applying a field within the result set, in this case, a rating, and boost those results that have a higher rating from our customers further to the top. And you can see it's not completely linear. So this rating was only 4.1. This was 4.4, and it's in second place. And that's because it's not a completely linear scoring just based on rating. It's a combination of the relevancy of the product based on the description field that I tweaked earlier, plus combined with a multiplier from the rating. So again, if I save this, this will change the results for customers now to show higher rated products higher up in the results set. So one last thing I'm going to show here, because I want to keep some time open for workplace search, which is another part of our enterprise search solution, but I will show you what a curation is. And I get this question all the time. What if I want to feature a set of products? So I'm going to go back here to the Galvan site, and instead of searching, I'm going to search for vintage. I want to see my vintage products. So we'll see here this Wallace and Barnes Camp Short was at the top. Piece of My Love is down here. And we'll show how, if I want to bring some of these products to the top, that's what we call a curation, where you're a curator picking out certain products in your catalog, and you want to bring those to the front. You want your customers to see those before they see anything else. So let's go back to the admin page and take a look at how easy it is to create a curation. So I'm going to create a new one for that same term, vintage. Now it's going to go ahead and do that same search I just did. So it did that search for me. And see, I forgot which one I pointed out. I think maybe I said this Hollywood sweatshirt. I'm going to bring that up, and I'll bring up a couple of other ones that are Point Sur high rise, and what else? English silk tie diagonal stripe. Just so now we have this curated set. So these are products that I, as a salesperson or marketing person, I specifically want to boost these products. I want these to be prominent every time a customer comes to my site. And yeah, that's all I was going to do here. So now I've created that curation. If I go back out to the curation page, you can see there's my new curation that I just created. Same thing we're going to do here. Go back, refresh this. And if everything worked as it should, I should now see those couple of products. And sure enough, here's the three items that I created the curation for are now the first three products. Here was that Point Sur high-rise pant, the English silk diagonal striped tie, and that Hollywood sweatshirt. So again, just a brief tour. Again, the main message I want to leave you with here is this is a much easier experience. It's open to your business users. You don't need a team of 10 sophisticated app developers working for months to build a site like this. And the nice thing is we give you out of the box analytics for how your site is performing with your users. And most importantly, allowing a business user to look at these analytics and then query, based on the results they see, tune the relevance. Now, again, in the interest of time, I'm just going to quickly show you the chatbot. If I search here for help, let's say I bought that item for my wife and she wasn't too keen on it, so I want to type into the chatbot here, and I want to see, can I search that? I immediately get a result from the chatbot. I click on this. This will take me over to the Galvant Help Center. And by the way, we've also, besides the chatbot, we also can apply this search box right on our knowledge base here. And so I say, and if I say initiate, how do I initiate an exchange? Boom, here I get details on this. So the idea here real quickly is this was using that other search engine that I showed you in the App Search admin page. This is a completely separate search engine for the Help Center. The idea is whole different set of users, but same concept, right? What I'm trying to do here is use the chatbot and this knowledge-based search to offload my support team so that they don't have to answer the call for simple things like, can I exchange an item, right? I'm making my users more self-sufficient and letting the search team, the support team, work on more specific items. All right. So just a quick demo of how I built two completely different search experiences: product search, knowledge-based search, all using app search, two different search engines, all within the same, built on the same stack for two different sets of users. And by the way, real quickly, for app search, if we jump back out, I'll just show you real fast. For the Help Center, they get the same type of analytics, but in this case, the queries are track shipment, initiate exchange, and same idea, they can see queries where they're not getting any results. So people have been issuing these queries. So again, now in this case, instead of sales or marketing team, I can have my support team looking at these analytics and say, okay, we need to tweak things. Same idea, boosting, changing weighting, creating curations so that users interacting with my chatbot or on my knowledge-based search page can get relevant search and hopefully offload the support team even further. So that's app search. Now, the other thing I mentioned when we were looking at the Galvant architecture slide there is workplace search. So this now is, the intention here is to connect all the data sources within your particular business. And you'll see over here things like GitHub, Dropbox, Google Drive. Acme Vault is an example of a custom solution that Galvant has built themselves. Jira, OneDrive, Salesforce, SharePoint, Zendesk, Confluence, right? Those are all things that almost all of us, in the audience today, and those of us at Elastic use these tools all the time. All of us Elastic folks on the call or on the Zoom today, we use workplace search internally to find documents. Whenever I'm getting on a call with someone in the community or with one of our customers, I'm usually in workplace search looking for information on that customer, or maybe a PowerPoint or a Google slide presentation that I put together for a meeting, and I can quickly find that here. Now, I'm gonna go back out to the top here. So just to give you a few examples how the teams at Gallivant might be using this. So let's say I'm on the marketing team and I'm going to start a new email marketing campaign. And I remember that I had just seen a PDF. And again, you notice there I got nice suggestions for my search. And again, instant results set. Now, there's a couple of important features that I want to point out with workplace search. So first of all, you'll notice that it picked up on this idea of PDF. So behind the scenes, we're using things like machine learning to identify keywords here. So when I issued that search for PDFs, it picked up on the idea that I was specifically looking for PDF documents. Now, if we look here at the facets side, again, similar to what we built with App Search, but here we're looking at these data sources that Gallivant is using internally. And while there's a number of different data sources and different document types, it picked up on the fact that I was specifically looking for a PDF, and it pre-selected it for me. So all the results, if I scroll down here, you'll see these 13 results here, and you'll notice they're all PDFs. So it immediately eliminated all the noise for me, didn't bring back any of the JPEGs that matched email marketing, didn't bring any Word docs. It just brought back the PDF. So it identified that correctly, selected PDFs. Now, let's say I did that search, and then I'm second guessing myself. Maybe it was actually a Word document, not a PDF. Again, all I got to do is click on that facet, and now it's reissued that search for me and brought in additional documents. And somewhere down here, here we go, it now brought in a couple of additional documents, in this case, Word documents from Google Drive. So again, instant results, I'm able to quickly tailor it. If I can filter it down. I showed you how to expand it by including Word docs. I can filter it down and say, just show me, whatever's out on SharePoint. So now it's streamlined it. So again, as a user, looking for all the documents at Gallivant, I can quickly find my email marketing information that I'm interested for, again, specific to my role. While I'm here searching this, let's say, let me see, I'm gonna, let's say I'm part of that support team, and so I'm trying to help someone who was looking for, they had issued an exchange and never got anything. So now I'm going to look for tickets for a customer that maybe I have on the call. So the idea here is I've changed personas. Now, instead of me using workplace search as someone on the marketing team, now I'm one of those folks on my support team that, is trying to offload, my work through the chatbot and the knowledge base. But ultimately, sooner or later, I'm going to be on the call with the user. In this case, I've got Joe Smith on the call. He bought something. He issued a chatbot. You can see that we brought back the results from a chatbot, maybe where he originally was looking to exchange an item. And now, as John, the support team user, I can look for tickets. And same concept. We identified that I'm looking for tickets. It zeroed things down to Zendesk and just brought back open tickets. So again, making the results very relevant for the role I'm playing at Gallivant. By the way, one other thing I neglected to mention I'm going to go back to that last search that I did. One other thing I wanted to point out, which is important about workplace search. This is a federated search, but it's not your father's federated search, right? So what do I mean by that? traditionally, federated search tools, the way they worked is they would go out and issue a search to Dropbox. They'd issue this search to SharePoint, to Acme Vault, and to Google Drive. Each of those tools then would execute the search for you, return a result set, and traditional federated search tools just give you chunks, right? They give you, here's all the results from Dropbox, here's all the results from SharePoint, here's all the results from Acme Vault, and here's all the results from Google Drive, and they're all scored independently. So the relevancy is chunked out like that. The way Workplace Search works is it actually does the scoring across the entire result set. So we provide relevant results regardless of where that asset lives. So you can see here that it's intermingled. I've got the most prominent, highest scoring result came from Dropbox, but the next two were on SharePoint. So again, that's a key differentiator from traditional federated search tools. We score across the entire result set. Now, one last thing that I wanted to show, and I forgot to bring this up. We also, when you select an item, before we warp you over to Dropbox to actually take a look at the document, we give you a nice overview page of what this document is. So I find this helpful for my day-to-day work, because lots of times just seeing the cover page, it triggers triggers a memory. Was this the document I was looking for or not? Frequently, that's all you need is a couple of clues, or maybe it's just an excerpt from the document. And now I know, before I jump to Dropbox, this is what I was looking for, or maybe it's not. Maybe I go down to this one and look at this excerpt, and then okay, this is the one that I had in mind. So again, just another little convenience that you get with Workplace Search. And one last search, just to further illustrate that. Let's say I'm on the app dev team, and I want to look at open pull requests. I type that in, and same concept. Again, we understand that this is relevant to GitHub, and here again, the results have been tailored for a developer at Gallivant. So my main message with Workplace Search here is you can see how, as I'm a different persona, somebody on the marketing team, somebody on the support team, or somebody on the development team, depending what I'm looking for, Workplace Search is intelligent enough, again, leveraging tools like machine learning, to help guide the user and make sure that they're getting relevant results. In this last case, I'm specifically looking at GitHub results, and I said open pull requests. If I actually didn't find what I wanted, and I wanted to see pull requests that are already closed, I can expand my search. But again, I think you get the idea that this is a tool for everyone at your company, regardless of the role that they're playing. It's relevant. So the last thing before we wrap things up is I'll just show you a quick view behind the scenes for the administrator. And I can take a look at my content sources. These are all the content sources, and actually, this is actually what I want to show. So here's, now I'm the persona of Emilio. He's the administrator for Gallivant. And, we can take a quick look at all the sources that he's got. He's got connected, all the ones I mentioned earlier, Google Drive, GitHub, SharePoint. I'm not going to read that whole list. He's got all the Gallivant users organized by groups. So he's supporting everyone in the company, the finance team, marketing team, product engineering, here's the support team. So I was playing the role of a marketing person, the support team. Now, what I just want to show you before we end today is we also make this easy for Emilio, the Workplace Search admin. So let's say the product engineering team isn't quite happy with their results, and they've asked Emilio to boost the results for some of the content sources. So let's say again for the product engineering team, They want the GitHub results, or let's say they want the Confluence results boosted above the GitHub results because they're already seeing, open pull requests. Same idea here. All I have to do is just boost the results from Confluence, hit save, and now same concept. I don't have to re-index all my documents. I didn't have to go out to a development team. Emilio didn't have to, open a request for the development team to change the Confluence results. All he had to do was tweak that slider. And now for that, for the product engineering team, it didn't affect anyone else in the company at Gallivant. It just tailored the results to boost Confluence results for the product engineering team. So that's my presentation today. Again, just to recap, what I tried to show you, if I go back, I showed you how Gallivant is employing everything we do at Elastic. It's all built on the Elasticsearch search engine, but allowing the different teams to get relevant results regardless of their role in the business. And hopefully this shows you the art of the possible and gives you some ideas of how you can use Elasticsearch and our three solutions, specifically today, Enterprise Search, to create compelling user search experiences for both your internal users and your external customers. So with that, Phoebe, I'll turn it back over to you, see if there's any questions that I can answer.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, we've got 3 folks with us. We had a couple people drop off. So if anybody has any questions, now's a great time to ask them. I know John went through a lot of information there. So hopefully somebody has a question, and you can go ahead and unmute and ask, or you can type your question in the chat or the Q&A. And we'll just pause for a second. I also added a few links to the chat. So if you're interested, we have a community Slack channel. It's a Slack workspace for the general public, and there are channels in each of those, in that workspace to each of our solutions. And then we also have a forum where if you have technical questions, you can ask them there. And then we also record and post all of our meetups to our community YouTube channel. And that's where this meetup will be posted later this week. So please feel free to check out that resource, and all those links are in the chat. So just cut and paste there if you want to grab them all. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, John. That was really informational. I loved that you used Gallivant as your source material there. Hilarious. But that was really cool. I haven't seen the app search broken down quite like that, and I hadn't seen a workplace search shown like that. So that was really cool for me personally. Really appreciate you taking the time to share with the community. And if that's it for everybody, we'll go ahead and close it for now and end on the hour mark. And yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening.